Hey, what's up, D fam? Welcome back to the greatest bi-city podcast in the world, the Weekly D podcast. I'm your host, Danny G. This is my co-host, Kyle Austin.
What's up?
And today we're joined by a very special guest. He's Puerto Rican. He's coming out of Chicago. He's a singer-songwriter, R&B singer, putting a little bit of Sazon on it, creating a fusion out here. Please let me welcome the amazing host, Motion.
What's up, y'all? I go by the name Motion, as he said, R&B singer with a little bit of salsa on it.
There you go.
With a little bit of sazon, some tahini, whatever you want to say.
A little bit of Sazon, Got some that fusion in there.
Yep, thankful to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Well, welcome to the show. We appreciate you coming on, man. So let's get right into it. We met you at Palooza. You were one of the artists performing, and you performed this whole different kind of music. Like I gotta admit, like you were the first person I've ever heard try to mix R&B with reggaeton. It was beautiful. Like I've never heard someone do it and do it so well. Because you always see people trying to fuse things around, and sometimes they don't work, sometimes it does. The way you did it was just fire, dude. So I just want to start off by saying you killed it at Palooza. And I really enjoyed your performance.
Oh, thank you. Yes, wow. I'm glad you really enjoyed it, man.
So what inspired you to do a fusion like this?
I grew up listening to a lot of different types of music. Obviously R&B, like old school R&B, like 80s, 70s R&B, and 90s. But also, like my family, like I said, in Puerto Rican, grew up listening to a lot of salsa, a lot of different types of Spanish music. Over the years, like I became an R&B artist, did a lot of R&B music. But like as I got older, I just started to think about like how could I, infuse some of my culture into my music in a way that's like seamless and that works, where it doesn't sound forced. And a few years back, actually like 2 years ago, I had this album called Summer Canvas. And that was like the first time I really tried to experiment with using like Latin sound with R&B, or just using Latin sound in my music in general. First time I did it in that album, it was like a lot more like hard on the Latin side. It was almost like a bossa nova type of vibe.
Okay.
And I was like singing in Spanish at the end of it. And it's a very Latin vibe. Like you could dance like slow Latin dance music to it. This time around, I was like, I wanted it to be like where people could turn up to it, where it's like in a club setting, people could just move. And I wanted it to sound like intoxicating almost in a way, just like a whole different ethereal vibe. Definitely have been inspired lately by Bad Bunny. He's Puerto Rican, gotta represent, like gotta love it. Seeing a guy killing it, one of my people. So definitely inspired by Bad Bunny. Just taking like my experience doing R&B for the years that I've done it, I'm putting it in there. Originally, I wasn't even gonna do like a Spanish rendition of the hook at the end. Let me just throw this in there, just like a mix up, something people don't expect. I didn't perform the Spanish hook at Palooza, but that's something I added later to the release when it dropped this past Friday. So yeah,
with Fever.
With Fever. So.
Yeah, I really like that song. I like I said, I really like the way you fused it. Like to me, it's something completely new that I fell in love with. I didn't expect it transition so well back and forth, and you did it perfectly, man. It was awesome. It was awesome. So when we spoke to you at Palooza, we obviously got to know you a little bit, and we asked you a bunch of questions, but not a lot of people got to see it. Like it went straight to YouTube or straight to audio platform. They didn't get to see it in the live version. Let me ask you this question: what inspired you to start getting into music, and how did your story into music start?
I grew up in a really musical family. It's just like it's how a lot of people start off, with your family. My father can sing, my mother can sing as well. Like I was telling you guys before we started up, my brother plays the drums and came out the womb singing. Honestly, they told me like when I was born that I just had like a really high pitched just tone as soon as I came out. They're just like, he's probably gonna be a singer. Like, they just knew right away. I was a real annoying ass little kid, bro. Like I would just sing all the time. It just annoyed the shit out of everybody. So it just started off like that. But then, I grew up in the church. Once I like hit about 13, 14 years old is when I like started to like record my own stuff. And it like started off really, really primitive, real basic. Like I had, you guys remember like the old iPads that were like this thick?
Oh yeah.
I had one of those, but it was like a few years old already. And it was like bent on the side. It was like the phone jack was all messed up. It was just like bogus ass hand-me-down iPad. Definitely wasn't originally mine, but it had GarageBand on it. I would just like literally I would hold the iPad like this, and I would sit in my closet and I would sing into the iPad because I didn't have. So that's how I recorded my first song. So like fetal position in the closet singing into the iPad.
That's beautiful though. That's gorgeous. I love that.
So
I mean,
cool.
that just shows your dedication though, and kind of like really shows that like that's really what you wanted to do. You wanted to try something new, and you're willing to do what it took to do it, even if that means literally kind of starting with an old iPad in your closet. I think it's awesome. So,
and then it slowly became a little bit more like, I guess, how would you say, competent. So I had like a phone, my first smartphone. So I was like, okay, I recorded to this. And then I started just bouncing the files on my computer. And that's how I learned how to mix, because I mix and master all my own stuff 95% of the time. Sometimes I'll have like homies, help me out with stuff. Most of the time it's me, but it's because like recording for the first several years of my music career, the quality was so shitty. Like if I didn't mix it like to like if I didn't mix the hell out of it, it would have been like nobody would have listened to it at all.
So how'd you learn how to mix and how to master things? Because a lot of people go to school for that, and it seems like you learn as you went.
So I owe a lot of that to people in my life, like friends that I've had, connections that I've made. As far as like the whole how to like level EQ, well, if you guys don't know what that means, it's like there's a high end and there's a low end and then there's a mid EQ mix. And for certain things, like for vocals or for like certain instruments or for beats, you want to have them leveled in different ways. You want to have the high end higher than the vocals, and the low end kind of cut off so that the vocals don't sound too bassy and where they sound crispy, if that makes sense, like real clear. If that makes sense. I'm just
that makes sense.
And how to change the gain or like reduce clipping or distortion, stuff like that. That's kind of comes with experience. I had real basic tools at first, and I guess it was a blessing in disguise that I didn't have a lot of access to more advanced things, because it really made me like get good at the basics, the foundation of mixing, which is EQ, like EQing vocals, making sure the beats are EQ. But then, I met a lot of people in my life. One of them, his name is J-Biz. He's a producer. He's worked with a lot of dope artists. He sent me some new programs to learn and use. He didn't teach me how to like use them all specifically, but he sent it to me for me to like learn for myself. Because of him, I was able to learn a lot of that. And then meeting Jamakai recently as well, he introduced me to a lot of different things that I didn't know about when it came to mixing. It was a mixture of just like trial and error, years of experience, and also just, making connections, meeting people that knew more than I did, and just learning from it. So I honestly really didn't go on YouTube much to learn, which kind of surprises me thinking about it, because I probably should have. It could have probably saved me a lot of time, but
just a little bit.
I don't know. It's cool though, because I think networking is like a really cool big step and an important step that people don't really realize when it comes to doing anything, making music, whether it's doing art, anything like that. You have to know people, because there's always going to be somebody, like realistically, that has a skill set that you're going to want to learn from. Always. It'll never fail as you continue to kind of grow in this whole thing. And I think being able to kind of put yourself in a position where you're like, I want to learn from you. I want to just know how you do this. I want to take the time to do this. It shows up a sense of awareness, if that makes sense. You're like, okay, I can get better. I can keep getting better. Because what ends up happening like a lot that I've noticed, any kind of art form, right, is people tend to love what they do, but to the point that they don't want to ever see outside perspective. And when you find somebody who's super hungry and it's like really, really wants it, it's really cool to see somebody just kind of reaching out to kind of see what's out there, because they know that there's an opportunity to just really make something special, because the world's ever changing, and so is the taste of music. So I unfortunately didn't get to meet you at Dojapalooza. I was away, unfortunately, and my just to put it in perspective, my grandmother passed away recently. I appreciate it. I was really, really like excited in general to talk to you, specifically because your music has something like, in my opinion, that's kind of special in general, just because it has a very, like Danny was kind of playing on, a very unique sound a lot of us haven't really heard in a while. What is your inspiration when it comes to kind of like building your music, like almost from the beginning, like what you're wanting to talk about onto the paper to get the song out there?
Like starting off at first, it was a desire, I guess, to be noticed by people. I grew up in like a suburban area of Chicago, and the area I was in, I grew up, I experienced a lot of racism for no reason, just people just like dogging on me as a kid, like just treated me bad. I didn't have many friends and everything like that, and I guess it kind of like developed into this desire to like want to prove myself to people or to be noticed. So it started off really as that. just to be noticed, to express myself more. And then as I got older, it kind of just developed into me just wanting to share stories, you know, share part of who I am. You know, not all my songs are like 100% like factual, like a lot of them are, but most of them are at least inspired by things that have happened to me. And obviously, like, music is media. Media exaggerates certain things. There's drama, you know, you wanna play things, of course, you know, to add some suspense and stuff like that to music. Same thing with any other type of media. At first, my name wasn't Motion. It was something else. I'm not gonna say what it was. But it wasn't Motion. I decided on the name Motion about maybe 7 or 8 years ago. I started going by Motion, and it kind of, me changing that name was kind of just like me shifting focus on like, okay, why am I making music? And the message that I want to put out, like in my songs and everything, is that like life has a lot of different things, that like a lot of different obstacles we're gonna face, right? You're gonna face hardship. You're gonna fall in love. You're gonna fall out of love. You're gonna have your heart broken. Sometimes you're gonna be cheated on. Sometimes you're gonna be the one cheating. Like, things happen. A lot of stuff happens. But regardless of what happens, what adversity you face, what challenges you face, life doesn't stop moving. And so you can't stop moving. You have to stay in motion. You have to stay moving. You have to keep moving forward.
I love that, actually.
That's deep, yeah.
And so that's like generally, you know, where you can think about my songs just in that lens. Like even the song Fever. Fever is it's about meeting a woman that is enticing, but you know she's not good for you. But you know the temptation is just too strong there. You're at a function. You're in that
La tóxica.
You got some drinks, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not in your best right mind, and she's just looking real good, and you know it's probably not the best decision to make, and even she knows that, but you still, you know,
you're still gonna go for it.
Going for it. And like, it's not a great decision, but it's like, it's something you live with, and you keep moving forward.
It's a real life decision at the end.
We'll see later.
Yeah.
You'll see there, I'm actually working on a project, but like I'll go into like the consequences of that. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot that's like around that as well with that song.
I like that.
The whole like message of my music, just in general, is just keep moving. Like you're gonna get knocked down. You're gonna get heartbroken. Like I said, things are gonna happen. Shit happens. You got to keep moving forward. Stay in motion. And I like to say, move with me. Like, let's move together. It's a movement. Like, you know, don't just be stagnant.
Yeah.
I heavily fuck with that. I think that's so cool, actually. Like, and adding that, you know, little piece of like, you know, because art is subjective, and so like when I listen to something, like I hear a certain thing, and of course like Danny will hear something, you know, a certain thing out of it, and then it's kind of really cool to hear kind of what the artist was really thinking when it came to building, when it came to kind of starting with your name, like how deep just one word really is, especially how much it means to you in general. Like, I think it's really cool to see like how that's affected your music as a whole, and like how you said, like it's really just about living life in a lot of the ways, and not just the good stuff that comes with life, some of the, you know, the mistakes that you make, some of the good things, some of the bad things, like it all kind of fits in together, because that's the big story, right? The big story of life is all of that. It's the important aspects. Without the bad and without the good at the same time, you can never truly find who you are when you're growing through this life. So I think that's really cool. Like you said, go with the motion. We'll get there.
Exactly.
I think that's the most well thought out name I have ever heard from artists. Like, we've interviewed a lot of people, but no one has thought it out as much as you did. Like, you blew my mind with how well it was thought out and how you think about it. Like, that's so interesting. I love that. I love that, because
I think we had one guy who definitely was on a name generator, if I'm not mistaken.
A name generator?
I think we had somebody who did try to find his name on a name generator, and that's why he was like, okay, we're gonna go with this. Yes, I don't remember.
Is it like the ones you go on Google and you type in,
where you just like press like
it gives you a name,
rap name, like, and then you just gives you a list of generators.
Really, I feel like doing that just for fun, just to see
what you get.
Well, you get all kinds of stuff. I mean, because I've seen people come up with like names on TikTok and stuff too, and if you get things like Little Mustard or like just random stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like, it could be hilarious. Just like the algorithm's funny.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, well, quick question for you guys: if my name wasn't Motion, you knew nothing about me. Like, what name do you think I would have, or that would suit me?
You see, This is gonna sound wild, but you seem like a Carlos to me. I don't know why. I feel like you would go by
Carlos,
Carlos.
the R&B singer.
I just see, but it's CAR and then LOW.
Carlos.
And then Z. Carlos.
Yeah.
Like,
There you go.
Jamaica be calling me Simba because of my hair.
Simba.
It was even longer. I just recently cut some of it off because it was annoying the shit out of me. But
You got some great.
Well, I remember because I saw pictures of you at DWD, and it was a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Like it was actually like starting to kind of fall a little bit, right? Like kind of those starting to kind of drop like almost down over to your shoulders.
Yeah, it was great, but man, it was so much maintenance. I don't know how women do it, bro. Honestly, respect to all the women out there. I don't know how you guys, especially with curly hair, maintain that shit. It's a lot.
I was about to say,
it's so hard to maintain.
I know curly hair takes a lot more maintenance and product.
Yeah,
my fiance has curly hair, and she goes through a bunch of stuff just to keep it curly, especially down here with humidity. Game over.
Yeah. Has it affected you in any way? Like generally speaking, since you moved down here, have you noticed anything different, like allergies, anything like that?
Well, allergies, yeah. As far as my hair, no, because like Chicago, yeah, it gets real dry in the winter, but in the summer, it's like a freaking swamp, bro. Like
is it?
It's way than it is here in the summer in Chicago because it's by the lake, you know.
I guess that's true. Yeah. You are close to which lake is it?
It's Michigan, Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan. Okay.
In Chicago, I mean, before the city was built on top of it and everything, it was kind of swampland. So just the whole atmosphere in that area is just like very moist. So being outside in the summer in Chicago is just like a greasy piece of meat. Like you just.
So it's like what we were talking about earlier. You walk outside and you end up with instant swamp ass. That's what Houston is.
But as far as allergies out here have been crazy, bro. I never had any allergies in my life. I'm not allergic to any animals, any foods. As far as I know, maybe one day I'll find out, and then that'll be it. My first January here in Texas, I thought I was dying. Like I don't know. Like I found out what it was later, but I had no idea what it was. I thought I had like a cold at first. I was like, it's just that I never really get sick. It'll usually like maybe once a year, maybe twice a year where I'll get a cold. I was like, oh, maybe that time of year I get a cold and that's it. But it just kept getting worse and worse. And I was experiencing things I had never experienced before. Like I felt like, you know that feeling when you're on an airplane and you're landing and then you just get like pressure and then they pop really painful and then you feel like you can't hear shit. I felt like that, but like all the time.
It's like a ton of sinus pressure. Man.
And like my throat was dry, my nose was stuffy. I would wake up in the middle of the night coughing because I was struggling just to breathe. Like, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening to me? Like, I'm dying." I found out it was the cedar in the late winter. Yeah. So now every January, man, is just I just got a mental.
You just like know it's coming.
I started.
Oh, that's rough.
Honestly, I started going for a doctor and got them shots. Honestly, because it was too much. Yes.
Yeah. I need to do the same because, like, basically the same thing that happened to you also happened to me, but I moved up north toward the Midwest. And, like, Kentucky has every plant under the sun, I swear. And so, like, being from Texas, I thought, oh, I'm not allergic to anything. I have no issues. I get dry skin every once in a while. Besides that, I think I'll be fine. Yeah. All of a sudden, my eyes started puffing up really bad, both of them. Like, for my brother's wedding, my eyes almost couldn't open. They were so puffed up. Like when I was like coming to Kentucky, so I had to go to the doctor as soon as I got to Texas and take a bunch of steroids. My whole body was just like in constant pain. I have all this like sinus pressure and stuff like that too. Like I totally understand. I'm allergic to something in the winter time. Like it's like ragweed or something that like grows here, and it's brutal.
That's horrible. Ragweed's the worst, dude.
I'm so excited to move back. So excited to go back home because this place is like out to get me. I swear. So I get it. I was just curious because I was like moving from like a different state. I want to hear somebody else's perspective, especially from somebody who lives in like a similar climate to me. Like now I wonder what that's like coming back.
Shit slapped me in the face. I had no idea.
I bet. We got a listener question. They asked, where does motion find the most influence when writing music?
Okay, so like other than like my own life, things that I've been through, situations I've been in, sometimes I'll write from the perspective of someone else. So I remember like there's this one time, this is a song that's unreleased, but like it was a woman that I knew, and she was like opening up to me about a situation in her past with some guy. And like that same night, you know, I just was inspired to just write a song about it. I wrote as if I was in her shoes in that same situation. So most of the time it's like from like stories that I've heard or things that I've been through. As far as influence, like artistically wise, I have a lot of different influences. I mean, I have a poster of Michael Jackson and Prince in my room. Those are two of my biggest inspirations.
Some of the greatest.
But,
Yeah.
Some of the greatest to ever do it, performance-wise and musical-wise.
Prince was a beast.
And then
was a beast.
I have a lot of different influences, like even like artists that have nothing to do with R&B.
I was gonna ask, who's some of your favorite artists outside of that genre?
Some of my favorite artists outside of R&B. A lot of people might not know this. Before I got into R&B, because I got into R&B, like deeply into R&B when I was maybe about like 10 years old. But before that, I loved rock music. Rock was just my shit.
Nice.
So I love bands like Bring Me the Horizon.
Ooh.
A Day to Remember is pretty classic.
Some of my favorite bands ever.
I love rock. I do not like country. There's nothing about country I like, so I'll just leave it there.
I understand. I'm sad about it. But I understand. I'm gonna have to put you on. I'm gonna have to put you on the good stuff.
I have no ill will towards country. I'm like, I've tried, and I'm just like,
I get it's not for everybody though. Everybody's got like a different flavor of things, and some things are just not.
There's only like one, I guess it's country. Like maybe it's considered country. It's a song by Michael Bublé and Blake Shelton.
Yeah, that's Home.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that song. That's a great song. I don't know if you can song. But,
we can consider country.
Michael Bublé, like, yeah, it was really done. It wasn't even originally. It was done by somebody else.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's a wonderful song. So you got good taste.
I grew up listening to classic rock bands too, like The Police.
Nice.
I was never a big fan of the Beatles, to be honest. Like, y'all can throw all the food or hate at me that you want. I felt like they just, I don't know.
Actually, I'm on the same wavelength as you. If I was gonna go into anything Beatles, it would be some of their later albums because they were being super experimental, and a lot of that stuff for a lot of people isn't really listenable or palatable. When people think the Beatles, a lot of times they think their early stuff when they were doing almost like late 50s music, where it's still coming off of that doo-wop rock sound, and then they kind of know those songs. But as you get into like the later 60s, where it gets really like experimental because they're experimenting with a lot of drugs, like there's some interesting stuff in there, especially from an instrumental perspective. Like if you are ever looking for like samples, like Journey down there, because there's some interesting stuff there. But like outside of it, I'm on the same wavelength as you. I'm like, it's okay. Like it's overrated to a point.
Yeah.
Speaking of Journey is my shit. I love Journey.
Journey's great.
Journey's great, dude.
And then I also listen to a lot of funk music, jazz music.
I love funk. I love
funk. I love jazz. Like I listen to jazz sometimes just like with no music. I love Robert Glasper. I don't know if you guys listen to Robert Glasper. He's actually makes some music.
Chris is who's in here. He's our the Twitch guy for the day. Like he's a huge jazz guy.
Yeah,
like loves jazz music in general. I'm sure we've told him not to talk in this space, but so he can always jump in when it comes to this kind of stuff. He literally loves jazz music, and he probably knows a lot of those musicians and stuff as well. And he's got like he's pretty good taste in jazz.
I wish I knew more about jazz. Like I like listening to jazz, but it's one of those things where it's on my Spotify and I'm like away from my phone, not even paying attention to who's singing.
I like easy listening stuff.
Yeah, I love listening to jazz. I can never name an artist or musician within the jazz spectrum.
Look up Robert Glasper. Listen to Black Radio. It's a great album. Really good album.
I'll definitely.
He's kind of like
after this.
He's kind of like a fusion of jazz and neo soul. And he also has like sometimes they'll be playing jazz music and then they'll have a dude rapping on jazz music. Like he does.
I like that.
He doesn't sing. He kind of composes everything, and then he'll have artists come perform on the songs that he.
That's awesome. Cool. That's really cool.
That's super cool. I've tainted myself with jazz because I had this like you watch Bob's Burgers or like watch Archer or anything.
I've seen some of Bob's Burgers and a little bit of Archer, but like not favorite.
Okay. So the voice of Archer, generally he just likes to do random things. So he created an entire jazz album, but he played keys. But the only thing that he didn't know how to play keys. So everybody else was playing proper jazz music, and then he's just doing his best on the piano. And there's an entire album of that, and it's the funniest thing ever. Like,
did it do numbers?
It did really well.
That's hilarious.
Wow.
Like part of that's just his name, but like if you're ever looking for something really dumb and funny and you want to laugh for like one song, you can listen to that. It's called "I Don't Play Piano" Part 1.
That's a part 1.
There's like 3 parts.
You know what that kind of reminds me of? I forgot what it's called, but there was this documentary on Netflix that came out during when the COVID first hit, and it was this dude, and he was just like making music. It was this white dude. And he was like making music in his apartment and slowly going insane as like the month on, and it was like this long documentary series.
Yeah, you're talking about what is his name?
Marco.
No, it's Bo Burnham.
Oh, Bo Burnham.
He's a comedian. Yeah, Bo Burnham.
That's right.
Yeah, that was that whole album is great. Like
really talented guy, but it was hilarious.
It was super funny, and his descent into madness was also like, whoa, like you're just like, oh, some stuff is like, and kind of intense.
Yeah,
there's also some deep parts in that whole composition too. Like there's a part where they're talking about like the white girl Instagram, or white woman Instagram, and there's like a part where it's talking about almost why people post on Instagram too, to kind of like express, things that they may not have tangibly anymore, because they were talking to, like, there's a part where it's funny the whole time, and then it randomly talks about like a girl missing her mom who like passed away, and then you're just like, wow, that was super deep, and it jumps right back into like the funny stuff, and you're just like, why'd you do that? Like, but also, wow, that was really powerful.
Yeah,
but like, why'd you do that to me?
I feel like the best comedians do that really well. They actually do more than just make you laugh. They like pull at your emotions.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They make you
definitely.
think a little bit too, huh?
Yeah, they really make you think. Like one of the best at that is Dave Chappelle, honestly.
Agreed. 100% agree.
He's one of the best pretty good at that too is Bill Burr. Bill Burr has a weird way of like getting really dark and deep and then bringing you out of it, making you laugh.
Get super serious for a little bit, and it's just Joey Coco Diaz too.
Oh, Joey Coco Diaz will ruin your life with his stories. Have you ever heard of him?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude, you gotta watch. Really, just go on YouTube one day and type in "best of Joey Coco Diaz." The dude just goes on crazy rants all the time. But when he tells like deep stories, like they get really deep, and then he makes you laugh at the end.
And he has his accent's awesome too. He's from New York. Like I think he's from the Bronx.
He's Cuban from New York.
He's Cuban from New York, and he's got this real deep accent. He's actually played like Italian mobsters in movies before, but like
he's in that new Sopranos movie. I forget the name of it.
Yeah.
Mary Saints of New York.
He's a beast. I highly recommend Joey Diaz.
It's crazy how comedians tend to be like some of the most multi-talented people in the industry. Like you have people like,
for sure.
Even Jamie Foxx, like he was a comedian too.
Oh, dude, Jamie Foxx is just incredible.
And then an actor, like he's just. Did you guys ever see his stand-ups when he would like play piano while he would do his
I've never seen that.
He was hilarious. I have.
So good because like he's funny. It makes you like it's hilarious, but also like you just want to listen to him play and sing because he's just so.
It like sounds good. Yeah, you're like, oh.
I would download that session on Spotify and just listen to it just because it sounds good.
But
I'm gonna have to go check it out.
I think I might actually do that.
I love his comedy. I've seen him do stand up, and he's really good at stand up. But I've never seen him pull out the piano or anything. I've also seen him ruin people's careers on the roast. I don't know if you've ever seen the roast.
That'll happen too.
Some comedian's career, like after that comedian was never heard of again. I forget.
Well, he did that song with T-Pain too, Alcohol. Like that was like a lot of that was because of the fact that he did a lot of his instrumental, like not his musical, like comedy too. Yeah. So like of course there was an opportunity to kind of play on that a little bit. He did like 2 songs, but Alcohol is the one I remember.
Dude, he's so incredibly talented. It's ridiculous. He's a great actor. Yep. I mean, have you seen him in Django?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Great actor, great singer, great at impressions.
Did you ever see the movie Ray?
Yeah. He killed it.
Yes, actually.
Charles is Jamie Foxx. And I think that's like his best performance of all time.
I'm excited. Super excited for that Mike Tyson film.
Yeah, he's doing Mike Tyson, and he got jacked for it. Like he got jacked to do it.
That dude's been jacked like his entire life, bro. Like
he's even bigger though. Like he built up to Mike's size from like when he was in his prime. Like
I think they said he put like 20 something pounds of muscle on. And apparently he has like the perfect Mike Tyson impression.
He does. Have you heard it? It's great.
I haven't heard it, but I believe it.
He does the Liz.
Yeah, he does
Yeah,
everything.
he does the lisp
dude.
like perfectly.
That's crazy.
It's like a perfect impression. Like it's spot on. Like he even has like the mannerisms that he like when Mike's talking. Like because I don't know if you guys have seen any of this stuff, but if you guys are on like media and stuff like that in general, Mike Tyson's actually been doing a lot more interviews and stuff lately. He even has like a podcast that he does.
The Hot Box.
And like so you get to kind of like see him like he's still so intimidating. God damn. that man is extremely
I mean, just ask the guy that got punched in the head by him
so quick
on the airplane.
Yeah.
He deserved that though.
Ain't somebody you want to mess with for sure. If you see someone with an ear that looks like a clenched fist.
Yep, cauliflower ear.
Yeah, don't mess with them, huh?
Yeah.
No, they're fighters. Doesn't matter how skinny they are either. Like it's all about weight class. Like you see somebody with cauliflower ears, best just to not even bother them.
Especially cauliflower ear, because you get it from wrestling, like from grappling and stuff. So
I see a dude that's 100 pounds soaking wet and he's got cauliflower ear.
I'm staying away.
Nope.
Because you know, by the time you blink, you're gonna be on the ground.
So like, I'll throw it out if I have to, but I'll be your homie first. Like, nah.
So when did you actually move from Chicago to Texas? Was it pretty recent in terms of like a few years?
Yeah, it was like I think it was the summer of 2019.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So super recent. What was it like trying to kind of meet new artists within like this whole space in Houston?
So you mean like specifically when I went to Houston for Palooza, or like coming to Texas in general?
Well, like coming to Texas in general and kind of just experiencing like an influence because you're living out where are you living out right now? San Antonio. Yeah, I mean San Antonio's got its own vibe of like music in general.
Mm-hmm.
Have you kind of met up with any of those people like in the San Antonio area to kind of see what their tastes are like, or has it kind of been like I'm doing my own thing right now?
Coming from Chicago, there was like some artists that I knew out there that I would collaborate with or like promote with, do shows with. I did quite a few shows in Chicago. That's one thing that I've missed a lot. There's a lot of performance opportunities in Chicago because it's like Chicago is really big on R&B, rhythm and blues, jazz, funk, also house music. But there's a lot of like opportunities and venues for that. I feel like in San Antonio, the market isn't like really in that place. The vibe isn't really the style of music that I make. I've gone to like several different, and maybe there's some things that I just don't know. It's like a big small town.
The great way to describe San Antonio.
It's so spread out. There's probably some stuff I don't know, some places I don't know, but from where I've looked and what I've seen, because I've done some research and asked around too, a lot of the places are more like acoustic guitar settings, rock music, folk music, and my style of music I'm making right now is like, yeah, it can be done with like, you know, an acoustic guitar. I could do some sets, but you need a guitarist, you know, for one, and someone plays that style of music. And in my experience, like so far, I haven't met a lot of people that really are on that same vibe. I've met some people who are R&B artists out here and stuff, you know, like in different places that I've worked, met certain people. As far as like, you know, wanting to like really connect and collab, because I'm very selective about like who I collaborate or really who I'm like friends with in general. I didn't really start to meet a lot of new artists when I was out here until I did like visit Houston for Palooza. Like the first artist I met out here in Texas that I was like, okay, like I vibe with this person, like we can make music together and just like be friends, you know, and just like be cool and just build that relationship, was Jamakai. And then he introduced me to people out there in Houston as well. But meeting Jamakai was really cool for me, and just like knowing him in general, because he reminds me a lot of, you know, like where I come from. He's a city kid, you know, like we're like very similar, have a lot of things in common. It's just a different vibe. People out in San Antonio, like it's just a whole different energy being out in Houston versus being out here. Like I said, it's a big small town out here. In Houston, for the small time I was just hanging out there, I was just like, I feel more like at home in this type of setting because I'm a city kid. I love the city, love just that whole vibe, that whole energy. There's not a lot of that out here, unfortunately. And then, you know, when I first came out here, it was right before COVID, and then COVID happened. And then that just dampened a lot of opportunities to meet people in the first place.
I get that completely. Join us, by the way. Come to Houston.
Come to Houston.
I'm moving to Houston. Danny's already in Houston. Chris is in Houston. jams in Houston.
I've been wanting to visit and just hang out and just kick it, like maybe like a few weeks.
For sure.
Yeah, get a taste and a feel for like the city too, because there's a lot of area too out of Houston. We've met a ton of people. Like we grew up with a ton of like artists that do like R&B, hip hop. They do all different things. We have some country friends who like country music and do country music like on the side. Like there's like
friends
a ton
that
of
are in rock
musical
bands.
influence here. Yeah, we got friends that do rock bands, punk bands, all kinds of stuff like that too, that we've kind of like met over time. Yeah, I mean, like I totally get that. If you're looking to ever do music like shows or anything out there, definitely check out, like, I know Austin is cool and everything too, but San Marcos, because of Texas State being right there, like that's where I went to school, and like your style of music and your vibe of music, I think would be really like well liked at like a lot of the spots out there. I think people would definitely vibe with like what you're bringing to the table there. Not to mention a lot of those guys are coming from everywhere. There's like literally people from everywhere in all walks of life that like vibe with just music in general. So if you're ever looking, like that's a 40-minute drive for you guys.
Yeah, good. Thanks for that.
I can also give you some recommendations. I'll find some. I know some people in that area.
I would
like. So if you're ever looking to play something, like, let me know.
Yeah, I would love to. Let's get in touch.
Yeah, that'll be dope. I think I'll definitely click there. Or like he said, like Houston too. There's so much diversity here that your music would definitely click here. It'll pop off. Yeah.
Or come play in Louisville, Kentucky for a little bit. Like this is where Bryson Tiller's from. Like Jack Harlow. Like I mean Jack Harlow's clearly a different genre of music, but like Bryson Tiller's from here.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, actually.
Damn it, Kyle! You're always trying to convince people to go to Kentucky. You should become like a state representative.
You're trying to convince everybody to go out there when you're trying to move back. You're like, come out here so I can leave you.
Right?
No. Come to visit. I am gonna go back home.
Since he's been there, every episode we've had, he tries to convince someone to go to Kentucky.
Bro, y'all just gotta come visit me, bro. It's lonely at the top.
Yeah.
You'll be back by the time you want to go out there.
All right, exactly.
I gotta tell my Chicago friends, yo, come visit, bro. Like I got a room, like
Right?
Yeah.
I get it though.
That's awesome though. Like I get the big city vibes and all that too though.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense. You tend to miss it when you go to a small town like that. Like even though San Antonio is a big town, it's so spread out that it feels like small town vibes.
I mean, you were in LA. That's where Danny's originally from. He's from California, LA. And then he moved from there to where we grew up, which was Houston, but it's the outskirts of Houston, southeast Houston, which is like Rosenberg, Richmond area, which realistically is the country. It's like
such a small town, dude. Like literally everyone here is related to someone that lives here.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy.
It's pretty crazy.
Like, it was a weird vibe. I'm sure for Danny too is like a weird transition. But I've never seen something that's like a country hood. It's either just straight hood across the track, and then there's cowboy hats and kicker stuff. Like that's like the two pieces there.
It's the same thing in Houston though. In Houston and downtown, you could be straight up in Fifth Ward in the hood, and then look left and there's someone on their horse and just riding down.
That also does happen. Texas is weird.
Yeah,
that's great. I'm just imagining like just a crip hanging out with a dude on a horse right now.
Totally
dude,
a thing.
I am not lying. That literally happens here in Houston.
Yeah, totally a thing.
I mean, like, I love the inclusivity. I love, but that's.
There's places like Kennelton, which we went to. They were district to us, but they're like 30 minutes out. Like they're in the country. It was funny because you'd see people that like would just push themselves a certain way. Like they try to like come off very like kind of hood a certain way, and then you find out that they actually do rodeo on the side, and then you just see them rock big kicker boots and a giant belt buckle, and they actually ride bulls. And then before you know it, eventually they start just like by like I would say junior senior year, they were like actually just full kicker, like
full country,
completely just full country hat, everything, just belt buckle. It like as you get older, like it would change, but like it was super funny because it's just a weird culture there.
Yeah, that's super. I'm totally out of my element hearing this. I'm just like, wow.
I think we're at the point where we play the game this or that. It's part of the show where we ask you rapid fire questions and you just answer to the best of your abilities. All right.
Okay.
All right. First one. This or that. Hot or cold?
Cold.
Okay. Next one. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate. Easy.
Hey, we finally got a chocolate for about 5 weeks.
Huh?
No one
People
said chocolate so
vanilla.
far. You're the first person
People
to say
like
chocolate.
vanilla for some reason.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Are you,
People like vanilla.
who likes vanilla candy? Like, I know maybe ice cream, but like,
I don't know.
I was like, a lot of people we know they like Bluebell, the Bluebell homemade vanilla ice cream. that's their reference
They
point.
love their vanilla.
Like,
if I got vanilla, I would put chocolate on top of it. So
there
it's
you go.
still,
So it's always chocolate.
yeah, it's always chocolate.
let's do fruits or veggies.
Fruits,
I like
Okay.
that.
Chicago hot dogs or deep dish pizza?
deep dish.
Deep dish.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Because I love the hot dogs, but deep dish just I have to be in the mood for the hot dogs. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you can always have a deep dish.
Yeah.
What's like the best deep dish in Chicago? Like
So my favorite is either Pequod's or Giordano.
Okay.
Giordano's.
I like Giordano's. We've been to Giordano's. That place is great.
Kyle, you just said you
Giordano's
didn't
real
like deep dish.
I didn't have a deep dish pizza when I went to Giordano's.
Oh,
I had
okay.
a different type of pizza, but it was awesome.
Yeah, he was saying that people from Chicago were telling him all deep dish isn't the real shit. I don't know
Mhm.
who told them that, but they're full of
Yeah.
because this shit's good.
I'm telling you, every single person I've met that is from Chicago, they're like, "Dad, don't worry about deep dish. You can have it, but like that's what tourists
Wait,
have."
are they
Like, come and have
originally
this
from
pizza.
Chicago though?
Yes, originally from Chicago, but they're probably from a different area too. Like they're all spread out. Like
Gatekeepers.
what's it called? The gatekeepers. You're probably right though. You're gonna have to put me on. But I see the Giordano. I'm gonna have to go back. I really need to go back and go experience Chicago again. But me and my wife are gonna go do it, and then just go full in. Like just us two. We'll go do Chinatown. We'll go do like all the cool like things like that would be recommended to us, like just in general, and then just go explore ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, ride the train, man. Take the blue line and just.
I enjoyed that. I have
love
done that.
Train. Yeah, take the blue line, go downtown, and just walk around, bro. Like the best time to go, honestly, is in the fall because the weather is beautiful. It's not too hot. You're not gonna be sweating dog ass out there. It's just a lot more enjoyable because the
I may
fall
do that.
is beautiful.
I'm sure the leaf, because I mean, there's still like a little bit of like there's parks and stuff like that too, and you see the leaves change like they do probably here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Like I'm sure it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like go to the beach or go hiking.
hiking.
Hiking. Nice. Okay. I like the beach better, but
I like hiking better personally.
I love the beach.
It depends what beach. Most beaches I've been to have been pretty mid.
Yeah,
Most
don't go to
beautiful
the
beach ever,
beaches here in
Galveston.
Houston. Avoid
Beaches
that
can be-
beach.
If you're talking
What's it
about like a
called?
foreign beach, like a beach out of the country, then like yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But-
Okay. Well, I just love
Technically,
the beach in general.
we can count Great Lake beaches too. Like depending,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I know there's a lot of places like Lake Ontario is another one like over going closer to like New York that has like great beach front. It's awesome.
Mhm.
I don't know about Lake Michigan. It's like, because you're feeding into Detroit and Chicago.
It's whack.
I was like, I don't know if there's much going on there.
It's dirty because it's like right by like the big city.
Huge port.
Yeah.
Well, 'cause
Yeah.
Michigan, Detroit's not super far, right? It's a couple hours away from there. So you're getting two big cities. Like you get Chicago, and then you also have Detroit like up there, and it probably feeds all into that area of that. And it's all on the same side too.
Yeah.
So it's all feeds to that lake.
Well, I promise you, it can't be as bad as Galveston. We got all the refineries over here just seeping chemicals into our ocean. They passed a ban here in Houston where we can't eat the fish we catch in the ocean because they're contaminated right now.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
yeah. Me and my best friend, we're gonna go fishing.
It's probably for the best.
We're gonna go fishing like 2 weeks from now, and they just passed the ban, and they're like, "Oh, don't eat any of the fish in the water."
That's why you go fresh, bro. Go freshwater all day.
No, even
It's a good
freshwater
thing
fish. Yeah, they ban. You can fish, catch and release, but you can't eat any of it. And I don't believe in fishing and not eating the fish you catch.
I mean, there is a such thing as putting it back when it's not legal size.
Well, I mean, obviously, but like if you catch a good sized fish, I mean, you already poked a hole in its mouth. You might as well take it.
Yeah, might as well finish the job. Put it out.
Exactly.
It's done.
All right.
Just a gut hooking on purpose.
All right. Next one.
Sorry, little
Coffee or tea?
Coffee,
Coffee. Ooh, okay. I like where your vibes at.
man. Okay. Beer or liquor?
liquor.
Okay. All right. What's your favorite food?
Man, I feel like that switches with the day, bro. That's hard. It's like asking me my favorite song. Favorite food, man. It's gotta be, honestly, one of my favorites is Cuban sandwich.
I love a Cuban sandwich, bro.
Yes.
Yes.
There's this
Right.
place when you go to Chicago next, go to Cafe Marianao.
Marianao?
Cafe Marianao. BS Cafe Marianao. Best Cuban sandwiches you're gonna ever have in your life. Thank me later.
I'm gonna put this on. I'm putting this on my list.
You gotta put it on the list
because that sounds good. Yeah, because that was the one thing I like about living in Kentucky is they got fire Cuban food. Like we have so many good spots here, bro. Like it's just great, and I've never experienced it because Houston has it, but like it's such a big city, and if you grow up like ethnically Mexican, like me and Danny did, like we're eating a lot more. We either eat at home or we're eating more Mexican food or Chinese food, like because that's the big things in Houston.
Yeah,
Mexican food, Chinese food, Indian food too. But everybody's like, I don't know about that.
Indian food.
It's so good. It's so good. Chicken vindaloo is amazing. Like you really can't go wrong with like really anything.
Yeah, Indian food.
But when you're young, you're like, I don't want to eat that. Like it smells funny. I'm not gonna eat it. I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. But when you get older, you're just like, you know what? This is delicious, and I don't know why I didn't like it.
It's so good. It's so hot, but I love it.
Yeah, it's the best.
I'm gonna get now. Okay, I got it.
All right. Next one.
Sweet.
What's your top 5 artists on your Spotify?
Top 5 artists. Is there a way I could check that? Like,
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Very good. And like how? Because I don't know how.
I'm not sure. Oh, what's your top 5 favorite artists?
I say.
Like, what are you listening to right now?
Right now, honestly, I listen to a lot of my time is spent listening to artists who are not like big.
Okay.
Who are like not popped off. I like scoping out a lot of talent that's like not that hasn't been signed yet. I mean, I listen to my own music. I love The Weeknd. The Weeknd is like a huge influence for me. I remember when House of Balloons first came out. You know, I was growing out my hair and trying to be all dark and mysterious and make dirty dark R&B. The Weeknd's definitely in my top. Bruno Mars, love Bruno Mars. I'm still spinning that Silk Sonic album.
Silk Sonic album's amazing.
Yeah.
Anderson .Paak in general, like also on top of that, he's a beast. Like
Lucky Day is definitely in my rotation. I love Lucky Day. He's one of the best R&B artists out right now. I feel. Who else? I love Her.
Her's amazing.
Her is just unmatched in female R&B right now. If you just go like vocals, she slays everybody.
I've heard a couple of her songs. Like I really like Daniel Caesar, so like she does stuff with him a lot. Well, not often anymore, but she was.
Yeah. She slays most guys like in just vocals. If you've heard her sing live, it's ridiculous. And then who else? My playlist is always on rotation. And honestly, a lot of my music is gym music.
Nothing wrong with that.
Rock music. Yeah, just to get pumped.
You like Leon Bridges?
I've heard some, but like I haven't. Some people told me
delve deep. If you like Ray Charles and like that, like if you're into like that style of like music, where it's just kind of like I don't know. It's hard to explain like where that falls into it.
I think it'd be soul.
More soul.
Did he cut out?
I think he cut out. Well,
like, did it die?
No, I think he just cut out. If you think our internet's bad, his internet's the worst internet out of all of us. It always crashes.
It was going so well without a hitch.
You know what? The face he left off on is pretty funny though.
I know you should screen cap that. You should put that. Post this. Put that as the thumbnail.
Yeah. Quick! Shoot me a pose. Oh damn!
There he is.
Damn
it! He heard us talking shit. That's
what it was. He heard us talking shit. He's like, "Oh, let me reset real quick."
Yeah, I froze. I was like, "Damn it!" I was really surprised it didn't happen before. So honestly, like, it was just bound to happen.
Dude, it was perfect. Your face when you froze was priceless.
I'm really sad that
He's gonna send a big.
I was like, I wish I would have seen the picture.
Oh, we got a picture.
Oh, Bowen got it.
We got it. Oh, that was
I don't know. I think I look beautiful right there. Yeah, gorgeous. Anyways,
I listen to a lot of Stevie Wonder as well too, though. Like I listen to a lot of old school.
Yeah.
And I also love New Jack Swing. Like I just have a big rotation. Like my playlists are so random. I just go like through my songs and just let it play.
I like that though. I think it's cool.
Yeah, you gotta have some diversity in it. It makes you better and gives you a lot of inspiration, places to pull from.
I'm definitely hearing a lot of just general from your like taste, like there's definitely a lot of love there for like 80s, like that genre in general, like especially like in the Weeknd and stuff too, because he has a huge affinity for the 80s, and his music is very much inspired by like, you know, the old like synth music of like the 80s.
There's this band, and if you guys like that type of music, it's called synthwave or 80s, whatever you want to call it. There's a band called The Midnight. Have you heard of them?
The Midnight?
No, I don't know if I have or not. Let me double check, because they sound familiar, but
like synthwave music, like that 80s.
Yeah,
the stuff The Weeknd makes, but like this is like even more 80s than The Weeknd's doing it. Like this is like straight up. It sounds like some stuff from Blade Runner. Like,
oh no shit,
sounds right up my alley. I love that stuff.
With like beats and stuff and singers and stuff. Look up the band called The Midnight and listen to the album Endless Summer.
Okay.
I have it queued here, so I'm definitely gonna do that. That sounds like
I listen to them a lot. They're really good. It's just like it just puts you in a good mood to listen to. It's just
That is great gym music too, though. Like all the synth stuff, it hypes you up.
Are you a fan of
get up and dance?
Are you a fan of M83 by any chance?
M83.
Yeah, you might know one song they've done, which is called Midnight City. But there's an album that I recommend if you get a chance to check it out. It's called Hurry Up, We're Dreaming. It's an older album, but it's phenomenal, especially if you like that vibe. It takes you through a journey, just in general. Like it kind of starts a little bit more on the it's just hard to explain. It's like a story basically, but there's really no words, like if that makes sense. It's very little words. It's mostly through just the music itself.
M83.
Yeah, it's called Hurry Up, We're Dreaming. That's the album. Yeah, okay. I think you'll like that album if you're into this type of vibe. 1975 is great too, and I feel like you'd also like them. They're more mainstream, but they're also great if you like that style of music. 1975 is amazing.
Yeah, I love that style. The Midnight are actually going to be at Austin City Limits.
Oh, nice.
I'm actually going.
Are you?
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, so they'll be there, as well as Robert Glasper and some other guys as well.
Oh, nice.
Also, I'm putting him down too.
When is Austin City Limits? That's soon, isn't it?
I think it's like in a month or two, something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe I can find a way to swing some tickets and head out there.
Yeah, they got a pretty good lineup this year.
Yeah, nice.
I have Glasper queued up too, so I got my music for tomorrow that I'm going to be listening to.
Right, I'm gonna be jamming out tomorrow at work.
Always appreciate the recommendations, man. I love music, so always nice to hear some new stuff that I haven't really heard before.
I got one more question for you. What's the first thing you do in the morning?
Wait, was that the question?
Yeah. What's the first thing you do in the morning?
You really did leave it open-ended, Danny.
Yeah, the way you asked.
First thing you do in the morning.
My bad.
Sure, if you were done. I thought you were gonna say, "What's the first thing you do and what's the last thing before you go to?" I thought you were gonna finish.
I do got one more question. I fucked up there. My bad.
You're good. First thing I do is usually snooze my alarm for another 5 minutes.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
Like I always I just have restless sleep sometimes. It sucks. Like sometimes I'll be in having great sleep and I'll just wake up in the middle of the night for no reason. And I don't know why it happens. It's not like I'm anything. I work out every day. I eat good. It's just.
I feel like I was gonna say I feel like you and I have the same curse. No matter what I do, I still have restless sleep. I could be exhausted and still wake up.
3 melatonins the other night, and I still woke up at 3 a.m. And I was like, "Why am I awake?" Because I woke up and I was like, "I'm still tired." It's not like I'm not tired anymore.
How do you end up waking up most of the time? Do you sleep on your side or on your back, or do you sleep on your stomach?
I sleep exclusively on my back.
On your back. What a thing you could try it and see if it works. This may sound super weird, but just try it because it works for me. Whenever I have trouble sleeping, grab one of your pillows if you have an extra one and put it right under your legs, your feet. Just kind of lift your body a little bit. Hold it. Can you hear me out?
My knees.
Under your feet, right behind your ankles, and just kind of and just try to just let yourself just relax, just kind of do a couple breathing exercises before you go to bed. Just when you have it lifted up and you're just and then just kind of releasing, like it really does help your body just wind down, and then you'll knock out. It helps me. Like if you're looking for something to do, like just like the breathing helps a lot, because your mind is, if you're like me, your mind's always thinking constantly about everything and anything and everything and everything. And so sometimes your own mind is your worst enemy when it comes to actually getting rest. So having a way to kind of close that off, or even putting in like a way to kind of like play out loud, like a type of almost like a white noise, just to keep your ears from staying alert. Like if you have something that's just loud, that's for both of you guys. Like it's something that's just like there that you can like still fall asleep to, but you just eventually don't hear it, and you can just kind of do that. Then you can probably get to sleep.
Oh, dude,
that helps me a lot.
I bought me a noise machine that plays thunderstorms all night. Still,
I do that too.
You need white noise.
I've tried the white noise. I've tried the thunderstorms, the ocean. None of that shit works.
I use, you know what sound is the best? The hotel air conditioner sound.
Yes, agreed. You will sleep like a baby.
I have no problem falling asleep. I can fall asleep like this.
It's staying asleep though.
But it's annoying because I'll wake up and I'll fall right back asleep. But I'm just like, why did I have to wake up? Because it still interrupts your sleep cycle.
Yeah, it throws you off.
Because then you got to go back into REM, and then before you realize it, it's like time to go to work when you wake up in the morning.
No, my issue is falling asleep, dude. And I've tried the melatonin thing too, but my body does this weird thing where it starts fighting it. So I'll be up longer because it's trying to fight it, but I'll be all like confused and hallucinating. And
I developed dependency on that stuff, so I kind of like stopped doing it because I almost needed it to fall asleep. And then so like it kind of like, because I have a lot of sleep like trouble with sleeping, but I think it's also because I may have like some it's no secret, I'm chubby, right? I'm fat, so like that also is a part of, maybe because like I know I snore, like I know I do, I don't hear it, but I know I do. And I'm sure that's part of it too, because like it's your breathing. It's all about that.
You know what I think it may? Is it hot in your house? Like, what's the temperature in your guys' house?
I try to keep it at 70. I like it cool.
I keep it at 70 with the fan on.
I also turn the fan on. I'm from Texas. I like it like running.
I'm gonna say like it's best to keep your room cold. Like you'll fall better. Me, I like keeping it on like 68. And sometimes even like in the winter, I'll like open the window like just a little bit. And my room, literally 50 something degrees up here, like in the house, like because I just crack the window. Night.
Dude, I do the same
what the heck are you doing?
When we had a freeze here like a year ago or 2 years ago.
Yeah,
and everyone was pissed off at me because I was like, "No, I'm opening this window. I'm getting the free AC and falling asleep."
Yeah,
free AC.
It was like 19 degrees outside. I was like,
it's a little cold. Oh, I don't miss the cold. I like cold, my house cold, but I like I don't like the cold in general. I can't wait to move back somewhere where it's more consistently warm. Like I couldn't do Chicago winters. Like realistically, that's a completely different. I don't know how you did it. Like you grew up with it. Like is what it is. Like I don't know how you did it. That's
everyone here was freaking out at the freeze. I'm just like, bro, this is just like a Tuesday. Like not the winter. The only difference is that all the power went out. So that's why I was surprised. I was like, wow, Texas isn't prepared for this kind of stuff. Like, this is just normal.
It's an infrastructure issue, 100%.
No, we're not ready.
In Chicago, when the winter's that bad and like the roads are all icy, they have trucks that are just like driving constantly throughout the city, dropping salt everywhere. So that's not because the city, like, they know what's gonna happen. They're like, all right, we got you. Like, we're gonna put salt so that like it's not slippery and like you can drive. Obviously you gotta drive with care, but like you're not just gonna slide all over the place because the salt like breaks down the ice and stuff.
Yeah, you have a better setup.
Yeah, because they expect it.
Here we're not ready for it, dude. It gets to 20 degrees and we're panicking.
It's mostly for the ice because like they said, they don't have the infrastructure, nor do they. For some reason, they just didn't buy trucks. Like they should have some trucks on standby. Like realistically,
you would think by now, right? Because we've had like 2 years of freeze.
But
especially with how fast people drive here, like and it's not like safe, solid like road. Like that's really bad.
I mean, people in Texas are notorious for driving like 10, 15 over the speed limit, and that's like that's you going with traffic. Like you're going with traffic. It's 55, but everybody's going 65 to 70, and you're still the slow one, if that makes sense. Like you're still going slow. They want you to go at 75 to 80.
Exactly.
Everywhere you go, it's 80. It's 80 by traffic, not by the law, not by the law.
Yeah.
Not by the law. And honestly, the police do the same thing. Like a lot of them drive just as fast as everybody else. They just go with traffic. Yeah. And then they're like, I think I'll pull that guy over.
Yeah, they picked a random person. I hated that shit. Yeah, all right. So very last question before we let you go. Let's just finish the sentence. All right. Okay. My name is Motion and I am
Puerto Rican.
Puerto Rican. Okay.
Hell yeah.
I like that. Awesome. Well, thank you, Motion, for coming on the show. This is the part of the show where it's your turn to share your social medias, promote whatever you want. If you got show dates, you got projects coming out, this is your time.
So you guys can find me on Instagram at Go With The Motion. It's just no spaces, nothing like that, no underscores, none of that shit. Just at Go With The Motion. You can find me on YouTube, Go With The Motion. On Spotify, Apple Music, or any other streaming service, you can find me just at Motion. My latest single just dropped this last Friday. It's called Fever. It's the reggaeton and R&B fusion. Check it out if you haven't already. It's super dope. I'm super excited about it. I hope you guys love it. You can find me on SoundCloud as well at Go With The Motion as well. Same as my Instagram. Have some visuals on the way soon. And, I've been working on a project the last year and a half, almost 2 years now, that I'll be releasing this summer in July is when it's slated for release. So if you guys like what you heard about, me talking about, the whole motive behind my songwriting, staying in motion, dealing with the mistakes, repercussions of actions you may have taken, and just continuing to move forward with all of that. If you guys want to hear more stuff like that, really look forward to that project. It'll be coming out this July. I haven't announced it yet, so this is like exclusive news for you guys. So.
Oh, thank you.
We like exclusive.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. I'm gonna be looking forward to it for sure.
Same.
I really love what you're doing with the fusion, with your music in general. You're a great artist. You're exciting to watch. You put on a great performance at Palooza. So I will definitely be looking out for it, and we'll be looking out for it. We'll share everything we see you drop. Like, we got you. We appreciate you for coming on, man. This was lots of fun. It was a pleasure getting to know you a little bit better.
Good to finally meet you officially.
Likewise, you too, and I appreciate you guys having me here.
Oh, for sure, it was awesome.
It means a lot, and it was great getting you guys as well. And and I ask is I want to help support your guys' platform as well. What you guys are doing for up and coming artists is great, and stuff we need to see more of. So
we appreciate that very much.
Push you guys, just let me know.
Appreciate it,
thank
man.
you, man. We appreciate that very much.
It's all love on both sides, man. We'll be looking out for you, and look out for us, and we can't wait to see where your career goes from here, man. Thank you, everybody watching. Thank you for everybody that's listening. Thank you again, Motion, for coming on the show. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Chris. Thank you to all the listeners. This is the Weekly D. I'm Danny G, and we're out of here. Peace.